movement of India. The autonomous vehicles, the waste to wealth, the drone, all these coming from CSIR. DST working in a host of areas, including the artificial intelligence. And artificial intelligence being used not only in the IT sector, but also in the personnel management to decipher, to analyze the corruption cases. Can you imagine how much of potential was waiting to happen? It has happened in the last few years, because unless we say, we would not realize. And of course, the Department of Biotechnology is a story in itself which the world is celebrating. Today only there is a write-up in the Hindustan Times. India's vaccine yatra is actually a case study in itself. Now, if in 2 years we could come up with 4 vaccines, we could come up with the first ever DNA vaccine, we could come up with the first ever nasal vaccine, this does not mean that we started off only after the pandemic happened. It means that we were already there, just like waiting, on the lines to begin the marathon. But the referee was not pointing out the signal, the flag to run off. The moment the pandemic happened, the Prime Minister asked us to take off to see what wonders have happened. In a country where preventive health care was least talked about, least known about, became an example or role model for the other countries. And we were not only developing vaccines, also providing to the other countries. And today, as was being mentioned by the PSA, when we thought of this theme for National Science Day this year, 2023, Global Science for Global Well-being, it was not simply to flatter ourselves or to be boisterous or to be self-righteous. I was trying to sum up the content of what has happened in the last. Today, actually, we are making the world realize the various facets of global well-being. You saw in those 2 years of pandemic, the Western practitioners of medicine who looked at indigenous systems or Indian systems with contempt were making frantic calls कि कोई booster है तो दीजिए. And this integrated, holistic management has been accepted. And therefore, global well-being, global science for global well-being, and it makes one proud to see that this globalization of science has to an extent begun from India, though we started off late. And therefore today, before I conclude, I would make you realize that the world is looking up to us. And is looking up to us because we have vindicated ourselves. We have vindicated ourselves with definite markers. In the Global Innovation Index, we have jumped from 81 to 40, all in the recent 3, 4, 5 years. In the publications, we have jumped from 6 to 3. In the startup ecosystem, we have emerged number 3. But I said in 2015, when the call was made for Startup India, nobody understood whether it was meant to be started up or meant to be stood up. And therefore, the world is ready to be led by India. And the question is, are we ready to lead? Seeing the confidence of these bright brains sitting in this room, I dare take and gather the courage to say, yes, we are ready. We are ready to take the challenge. We are ready to avail of the opportunity. And today, on the occasion of National Science Day, we take the first step by significantly and also symbolically launching the Web Hub Fellowship Scheme for the Indian diaspora abroad, our bright, young, and not so young scientific minds abroad, to be encouraged, to be promoted, to be motivated, to collaborate with the domestic brains over here for a much, much more wholesome growth. And this Web Hub stands for Vaishvik Bharatiya वैज्ञानिक, वैश्विक होकर के भी भारतीय. So global perspective for the cause of India. Being again collaborated with what remains to be Indian. And from here, we move on to embark on the journey of next 25 years. And I have the confidence to say, those of us who are around at that time, 25 years hence, will realize that India's scientific prowess will determine India's future economy and will also determine the contours of the face of India as it appears in the year 2047. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, best wishes.